And welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Money with Friends. Every single Wednesday, we have the privilege of coming to you to share really pertinent and timely conversation about life, money, and everything else. On this show, we say money encompasses everything, right? Because without money, you cannot do anything. But at the same time, too, we believe that in life, you have to start somewhere. So that's why tonight we have a great show. This show to me is very important because I've been having conversation with my friends about it, and I've been telling my friends, you know what? Small beginnings matter. Why does it matter, right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't start somewhere, you're never gonna get anywhere. It's very important that we start somewhere. I remember when I first started going to the gym, and you all could relate if you are going to the gym right now. The very first week, it's like 2 pounds, 5 pounds, very hard to lift. But once you start, you keep going, and you keep on doing the lifting. Guess what? Eventually, now I can proudly say that I can lift 25 pounds easily because of the fact that I started with 2 pounds. Likewise, if you are someone who's looking to finance a really great retirement plan, you have to start with that first dollar. Or if you're trying to build a network of supporters, like I'm trying to build a network of supporters with Let's Talk Money with Friends, or you with your business or your enterprises, it doesn't matter. You have to start with that first contact. That's why tonight we wanted to say small beginnings matters with your health, your finances, your business, or your career. So without further ado, I would like to welcome my friends who are on tonight. We have one returning friend, and also we have a new friend. That new friend is all the way in New York. And today she's so passionate about this topic and so passionate about the work that we're doing here that she had to stop working with her client to join us. And I'm so grateful for that, because I know that one supporter, if I could get 1 million like her, it would be like great. So I'm so happy that she's going to be able to join us. But why don't we first say hello to our returning friend, Lisa. Lisa, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you, Gabrielle. I'm excited here to be here tonight. I love the topic. I work in the marketing industry. Currently, right now, I'm in transition, but I've had experience in inside sales, social media marketing, a little dabble in real estate. So just looking forward to talking about tonight and getting into it.
Yeah, when we talk about small beginnings, right? And you have to be multitasking. You notice I'm like looking everywhere.
Yeah.
Because I have my desktop, my laptop, and I'm trying to do everything, because when you start and you are an entrepreneur and you're starting from nothing, you gotta, you gotta do a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
So, but let's start with your health, because we say on this show that your health is your wealth. So what does that mean when it comes to, like, what are some of the ways that we can start small when it comes to our health?
I would say one of the first things would be assessing how you feel physically and emotionally. So just making sure that you're mentally healthy and physically healthy. So how do you technically feel? You feel like you're energized, you have energy in the morning, you feel like you can keep going. If not, if you feel like there's areas for improvement, you can start by just doing a 15-minute walk. Sometimes taking a break, especially through the pandemic, everybody was working from home, sitting down in their chairs, not getting too much movement. A really nice 15-minute walk will give you like a fresh mind, come back with new ideas. A lot of ideas are actually come to people's minds when they're walking, driving, or if they're in the shower.
Yeah, I know, for me, definitely ideas for these shows, that I've been doing, this show here, Let's Talk Money with Friends. I know everything, when I talk to friends and contacts and different people, they're like, how do you come up with these ideas? And I'm like, well, while at the gym, while walking, while, sleeping. Sometimes you gotta, because it's so important. If you're thinking about your health, you say like 15 minutes worth of walk. It's definitely important. But also, what about the diet, though? The diet is also very important.
The diet, and I can I've had to deal with that myself. So one of the things is assessing, okay, how am I eating? Am I getting enough greens or good food within my body? So really the small steps, what's one thing that you can change or swap out for something that you like? Number one could be cutting out soda. There's a lot of calories in soda. And so you can cut a lot of that by just switching to a seltzer, flavored seltzer water. You can even put a little bit of lime or fruits in it to give it more flavor, or water. And you can do infused water with, especially in the summertime coming up, with some strawberries, cucumbers, oranges, and limes to give it some flavor. That's one way to do it.
Yeah, it's very important that you start somewhere, because at the end of the day, if your health is truly your wealth, you're gonna have to make an effort. And that effort, it doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to wait and start going to the gym every day for 2-3 hours. Because if you start doing that, what happens? Most likely you're gonna give up, because nobody can commit, especially when you first getting started, right, Lisa?
Yep.
I mentioned the weights. My gosh, 2 pounds, 5 pounds was so hard for
Yes.
me to do at first, because guess what? I needed to build that stamina, and I had not built that yet. So in order for you to get to that point, you have to take time to do it. Again, small beginnings matter. Do not despise small beginnings, because at the end of the day, that's why Zechariah says, do not despise small beginnings, because it really matters when it really matters, in terms of like your health. The small things that you can do will make a difference. Oh, there's our friend Ashley. Ashley, you and I share the same thing. Look at that. We have the same haircut.
Yes, we do. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Ashley. Ashley, why don't I give you a moment to introduce yourself? Because again, small beginnings. I was talking to a friend of mine who's from Boston, and I'm like, young lady, listen, I need more friends to be on the show. And she's like, I know somebody. And guess what? Ashley's all the way in New York. But because I started, now I'm reaching out to people from all over the country. So Ashley, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And please introduce yourself.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. Thank you, Gabrielle. Thank you, Lisa. Listen, I'm not very comfortable speaking live, but I'm here, guys. I'm here. I made it. My name is Ashley. I'm a hairstylist. I'm a licensed cosmetologist. I specialize in natural hair, braids, twists, locks, knotless braids, you name it. I'm so grateful to be here. It's such an honor to have this conversation about small beginnings, because I feel like I know I'm too familiar. And I feel like so many people can relate, because everyone has had a small beginning or a first start or at something. So I'm just grateful to engage in this conversation. I feel like I have a lot to contribute. And I'm just happy to be here. Let's go.
I'm happy you're here. So we just talked about, because we said small beginnings when it comes to your health. So have you had to do anything lately since?
Oh my gosh.
Your health?
Listen, so I'm going to speak about the physicality of the health aspect, because as a hairdresser, as a hairstylist, I use my entire body from head to toe, my shoulders, my back, my feet, everything I'm not just using my hands all day, but that's a part of it, my hands. So for me, it's like hand care, just making sure that I'm feeling my best all the time, making sure that I'm drinking a lot of water for the blood, for the circulation. I mean, I think people underestimate how important water is. As you get older, you realize as an adult, water is probably the most important drink.
Yes.
That's it. And so that helps with my hands. That helps with just all over, just my body altogether. Just keep maintaining a certain weight because of my knees. Again, I'm standing every day, my back, everything. Once you have your weight in order, everything aligns, your back, your knees, your shoulders. And so that's something that, obviously as a woman, I fluctuate up and down, but I try to maintain, I try to go back and keep myself moving, because it is important for the work that I do. And so, and in terms of health, again, I said drinking a lot of water, but drinking a lot of green juices too, to keep me energized, things like that. That's going to keep me feeling good and keep me feeling strong to do what I do.
And again, it's all about small beginnings, right? It's about you doing, we just lost her. I'm sure she's coming back. It's about doing one step at a time, that small step. I know years ago, I learned from my training that I did, and they said, do one thing, and that one thing will lead to another. People ask me all the time, Gabrielle, how have you been able to lose weight in the last 3 years? The 3 years since COVID. The other day, I was at a meeting, and this person came up to me and said, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in person because we've been on Zoom. How have you been able to lose the weight? And I'm like, one step at a time. I got out, like you said, because I was feeling a little tired, my legs and everything. And I was like, wait a second, if I get stuck here in front of a computer all day without doing anything physical, it's not going to be good for me. I need to start doing something. And then once you start it, guess what? Not only are you going to be able to continue because you're not going to pressure yourself too hard, just a little bit at a time, but also to finding friends and other people and reading more about it. Do you find yourself watching like videos online with women lifting weights and all these other stuff? Do you find yourself doing that? To see, even the way it comes to food, do you find yourself watching to see what people are eating to stay healthy? Like, I mean, I've been buying stuff that I've never bought before since COVID-19, right?
Yeah.
Right, Lisa, do you find yourself doing that?
I can even, when I started to learn about things to help reduce fibroids or things to kind of stay healthy, I started to look into ingredients more. So I looked into one of the main people for plant-based meals was Tabitha Brown. And she spent a long time, she has a really wonderful testimony about how her health had changed by going vegan and giving people great positive ideas. She's also a woman of faith. And so I followed her for some ideas, also watching videos from Dr. Sebi and things like that. So just one quick thing is like, there's something called kamut, which tastes even better than oats, like flattened kamut flakes. And I was like, oh, I've never seen that before. Or millet. Different options for rice. I mean, quinoa is now popular, but small little substitutes. You can season it up the same way you would make anything else and see how it tastes. Yeah, just small little changes. So, and they're very motivating because you're able to see other people do and make a change in their lives as well, and sharing it so that you can see those reap those fruits as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So actually, you said you talked about physicality. But we believe on this show, not only your health is your wealth, but also it's comprehensive, holistic health, right? So I mean, what would you advise someone who's sitting here perhaps today watching this or in the future saying like, oh my gosh, I need to start with my mental health. I need to start with my spiritual health. I need to start with my relational health, like friends. What would you advise them quickly?
Wow, that's a loaded question. I mean, I feel like to make it simple, like we're talking right now, one step at a time, one baby foot forward at a time. So I wouldn't even target all of those things at one time. I wouldn't target diet. Let's see what I can do with diet first. Then let's see what I can do with mental health first. Maybe see a therapist, keep up with podcasts. There's a lot of, even for me, like outside of just going to see a therapist or something like that, for me, to keep me encouraged, I watch a lot of podcasts, faith-based podcasts for me specifically, because that helps feed my spirit. So there's different things that you can do just like for free on YouTube, just free access to start with. And then I would look into a personal trainer if you want to move forward with that, doing small different changes in my diet, meat replacements. You talked about Tabitha Brown. One thing she really showed me was like mushrooms, how mushroom is like a meat. I never thought growing up, I never thought that I would love mushrooms the way I do now as an adult, because it's so good. It can be so chewy, just like meat, and crispy, just like meat. And it's so delicious. So like little changes here and there. And then those little changes turn into big changes, into lifestyle changes. So that's how I would target it.
I know we all here share one thing in common. I just said, Lisa, Ashley's like you. She's Haitian born American. She was born here, but her parents are Haitian. So I know if we were to be talking to our community, we would say, you know what? Rice and beans and a vegetable.
Yeah.
Green on your plate. Because it's so hard for folks. They're just like, okay, rice and beans or the spaghetti or whatever. So if you're from another community, I know I love Dominican food or food from the island. You gotta, rice and beans and vegetables. Do something instead of the soda, the drinks, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of multiple parties in one weekend, something different. Make it yourself so you can do it differently. It's very important because small beginnings matter. And that's why we want to encourage you tonight. If you are someone who's thinking, oh, I want to do it like Gabrielle did it. I want to do it like these ladies have been doing it. How do I get started? Tonight, start drinking water instead of soda. Do something small and you'll get there. So likewise, I mentioned that it's not only with your physical health, but your financial health, right? So, but let's talk specifically about retirement planning, because I know we talk about money comprehensively, but we want to tackle this very important topic because one day you are young, the youngest one at the workplace, right? And then boom, it's time for retirement. Time flies, especially when you're having fun. So what would you say to someone who's saying like, I don't know, I would like to have a great retirement. They have lofty goals, but yet they're 25, 30, they haven't started with that first retirement account, or they have it available at work. They haven't exercised the option to open it up. Although now, I think it was like a few years ago, it became like a requirement that if there's a plan available at work, that they automatically, they automatically add you on. What do you call it? You get sign up for it, but still, you still have to fund it beyond the minimum. So what do you say about that? If you'd like to have a beautiful retirement, those retirement years, where do you get started? How do you get started?
It costs you less to get started early. It gets started early. Thinking about I think living intentionally. I think sometimes we get away with thinking that tomorrow will always be here, but living intentionally. So having an idea of what do you like to do? How would you like to spend your time? Evaluate how much that would cost. But small things would be, okay, what can I do now in order to live great later? Educate yourself a little bit. Start to just take in little bits of information one day at a time or one season at a time, but including it in your normal everyday. If you have to pay bills, right? So maybe the same day that you have to pay bills, you take a little bit of moment to say, what can I do for my retirement? What can I learn more about retirement options and what that looks like?
Correct. Small beginnings matter. Now, I know, Ashley, you said you're a hairdresser, you're self-employed, right? You have a business and you are the one, you're your own boss, basically.
Yes.
I know you have a plethora, probably cohorts of friends who are in the same business. Have you had these conversations with your friends who are self-employed about like, girl, I know we sitting on our feet all day, but there will be a time we won't be able to do that. What are we doing today to plan for that tomorrow? Have you thought about that? The funny thing is, Ashley, this is my first time seeing her in person.
Yeah.
And I spoke to her for the first time yesterday. So Ashley, feel free to share as much as you would like. Or if you even have a question regarding that, let me know.
So
but honestly, the agenda. Okay, go ahead.
So honestly, I'm in the very beginning stages. When they say small beginnings, I'm literally, you will see my picture in the frame because I'm literally in the small beginnings. I just started to organize, register my business, organize my finances, separate my personal finances with my business finances, open up an IRA and different things like that. And one thing I learned in just the financial aspect through it all, like what I'm learning is I think growing up, we were taught to kind of pay all of your bills first. And then like whatever is left, you kind of like figure it out. You budget with the remainder of your money and then kind of do what you like. And what happens with that is by the time you're paying all these bills, you actually have like, you don't have much left sometimes to even put aside sometimes. And that's just the honest truth. So what I've learned through this process is really to pay myself first. I know that has been a game changer for me. And when I say pay myself first, I'm including even my savings. That's like paying myself first. And then the rest, because the bills are always going to be here. And I know that that's like a really hard concept to grasp, but the bills will always be here. Pay yourself first and then ration out your bills, because you can actually, you can still pay those. They're coming every month. You can still like kind of pay those off and ration that. I know that sounds like a bizarre idea, but it's been working for me and it's been beneficial for me. So right now, those are the things that I'm working through. So like I haven't even began searching for a retirement, but I do know how I like to live. I like to live on an island. I'm an island girl. Okay. I want to be on an island with the breeze. And so we're working that out. We're figuring out a plan how that can happen, because it has to happen.
Yeah, and you have to start small.
Yeah,
Don't
we have to start
don't
small.
despise small beginnings. It's very important that you get started today. I've had conversations with young people, those who are in their 20s, you know. I remember when I got my first job at 21, I was lucky enough to have had a woman at the job at the bank saying, like, Gabrielle, you need to sign up for retirement. And I'm so glad I did it. Because when you do it early, it can buy you it will buy you freedom, freedom to go to that island and enjoy, freedom to be able to perhaps when you're in your 40s start a business because you've had the savings, because you've done it over time, freedom to not have to worry and have sleepless nights when you're in your 40s, 50s saying, oh my gosh, I'll just have 15 years or less than 20 years for retirement and I don't have anything in my account, on my retirement account. You mentioned that you were planning for your business, you set up the LLC or structured your business actually, but you quickly said IRA. It's very important to set up your individual retirement account if you are self-employed. But if you are working with a company that the other day, this young lady that I call her my mentee because she's so much younger than me, but she's always called me for information. And she's like, Gabrielle, I'm signing up for benefits at work. And they asked me if I want to set up the 403B because she's working for a nonprofit. Instead of the IRA, it's 403B that they have available. And she's like, am I gonna need this? I'm like, yes. Sign up now. Because I know how important it is to get started, to pay yourself first, because small beginnings matter. Really matter when it comes to, again, you mentioned, Lisa, that it costs you less because when you're younger, you put we call it the time value of money. It's more complicated than I want to share here. But when you're younger and you start saving a little bit, you have a lot of time to accumulate.
Yes.
The compounding effect of your savings will really put you in a much better situation than if you wait until your 40s or 50s because you'll have fewer years before retirement. It's so important that we start. Small beginnings matter. So if you are self-employed, you gotta do it. If you are employed, you gotta do it. Doesn't matter where you are. As a matter of fact, if you're a teenager or someone who's working a part-time job, it doesn't have to be a career. You can start as early as possible. It's very important that you start putting something away because it'll give you the discipline. I mentioned like it gives you discipline. Discipline is everything. When you start doing that, that doesn't mean life is not gonna throw you off. You might have an illness, gone through a divorce, or a financial hardship that might create a setback. Life happens. We know that. We've talked about that on this show with attitude and everything. But that it will not be because you had not done what you needed to do. Because if you start small, call HR today, not tomorrow, today, leave a message that I need to go and speak to the retirement administrator to set up my retirement. Send them an email today. Start small. If you are self-employed, call a financial professional today to get it started because it's important, right? Right, Lisa? Right, Ashley? Yeah. So with that being said, we said, not only with your health, your retirement planning or your savings, right? But also, most importantly, we wanted to have this conversation here because we are all business people, right? We all starting from the ground floor and we're trying to build contacts and build relationship. Just like I had called Barbara Bober. I was having a conversation with her and she's like, yeah, I know my friend Ashley. Let me connect you. So how do you, if you're someone who's starting from the ground floor, building a business or career, how do you get your first connect? How do you start small in terms with your first contact and build your first, maybe having your first like on a show like this? What does it take? Lisa, since you're in marketing.
Oh, yeah.
It takes for you to understand first you really want to know what concept do you want to put out to the world? What is your brand? Who are you? Be authentic. If there's anything that I can stress, it's being authentic. Everyone has something unique to give. Don't second guess yourself. Just continue to learn and continue to be improving and always be curious. So you'll need to learn how to do different things. But the first thing is, what do I want to share with the world? Whether it's talent doing hair, like Ashley's talking about, or sharing content if you're really knowledgeable in a specific industry. And then from there, think about taking the time to really think about, what is it that I'd like to show and share with others? Once you have that in mind, you know what vision you have of what you would like to share. You just take the first step and be okay. The first time is not going to be perfect. It is not going to be perfect, but it's a start. Each time you'll look back, see what you haven't done or something you might want to change or do better. It just takes that one step to start trying.
Yeah. But I'm thinking, just like with your weight or your savings or your retirement savings, sometimes you get started and you're grinding, right? And yet you don't see the process. It's slower. Let's say slow and steady wins the race, right? But yet we all know the overnight success takes about 10 years.
10 years.
How do you feel about that, Ashley? I mean, like, the process is so slow. You're like, okay, how many people are watching? Or, how long have I been doing hair? I'm not making this and that income. I'm not getting the referrals that I feel like I should have had by now. Do you get discouraged, or do you keep being authentically you? What do you draw from?
Okay. The answer to that is both. That's a simple answer. I have been discouraged, but I still continue to be authentically me. So that is the answer to that is both. But in terms of what do I draw from, like how do I keep going? So it's to me, I go back to the beginning of like, why did I get started? And I've gotten lost in that way, because I actually have a small testimony about that. Because when I first started doing hair, I started with, it was just fun for me. I didn't even realize that I didn't even have a big dream of what it could be. It was really fun. It was like a hobby, and everyone like, oh, let me do your hair. Let me get my hands in your hair. And I started off with natural hair care. So that is how I advertised myself when I first came out. But I was also great at braiding and doing other styles. And so once I started posting my work and people started to see, oh, I'm skilled in these other areas, all of a sudden I felt like I became a braider, but that was not my intention. It was like, I just looked up and all of a sudden, oh my God, I'm doing braids 5 days a week now. I'm like, I'm not even doing the natural hair care side of it. So for me, this is actually where I'm at right now, because that's when you start feeling discouraged and lost, is when you start losing that authenticity, or you start forgetting, you forget about why.
That's she has a son. Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. Excuse me. And then over time, that's when you'll feel discouraged, because you're getting further away from why you started. And so I had that moment where I kept feeling like, oh my God, I love doing hair, but why do I feel this way? Like, why do I feel like I almost hate it? Like I was feeling almost resentful, but that's because I got so far away. And so right now I'm in my rebranding phase. So thank you, Lisa, for being a brand and marketer. You're in marketing. I'm sorry. And so when you think about rebranding, all of the things that you just said about like how you would help someone if they wanted to just start their business, I'm like in that phase right now. So who is the audience that I'm trying to reach? What is my purpose? What do I want to teach, or what do I want to show? And I really want to get back to that authenticity, just caring for my natural hair. So that's like trimming, coloring, treating it properly, teaching people about natural hair. So for me, it's just remembering why you started, and also my faith. Sometimes I'm like, God, what are you doing? Where do you want me to go? But just talking, for me, like my faith is very important. Just talking to God and listening, and that helps me stay encouraged, because sometimes you just lose sight of everything, Correct.
So, especially when the support system that you were hoping for, because again, it's like many times the small beginnings are very, very slow, because unfortunately the people closest to you sometimes are not the ones cheering you on and supporting you. As a matter of fact, many of them will discourage you because they don't know what you're made of, right? So it's also, I think it's very important to know what you're made of. That's where you will be able to draw, whether it's faith or someone who's done extensive studies and learned about certain things, and there is like the, like you have to wait for that change to happen, or for that growth to happen. Many times we're saying it, Ashley, because on social media right now, or because of the new generation, we have the microwave mindset where everything happens overnight. I went viral, so now I'm a multimillionaire, and everybody's online saying, like, if you want to be like me and go viral and be a multimillionaire overnight, come here, I'll teach you, not realizing that your normal business cycle is not viral. What do you say about, like, Lisa? Because you're in marketing, and it takes time for people even to get accustomed, like adjusted to. You could be authentic, and it takes a lot of time for folks to stop and listen and say, wait a second, this person is someone that I can relate to. This is the person that I want to be connected to. It doesn't happen overnight. We were talking about Tyler Perry. How long did it take him to become Tyler Perry? Do share.
No. It takes a long time. I know Tabitha Brown. I don't know who's the one who had on Tyler Perry. For me, I know Tabitha Brown. It took her years. She went through a time where she wasn't working, she wasn't feeling well, she wasn't getting certain jobs, but she decided to share her story with the world. And I don't remember exactly how long, but it definitely wasn't overnight. It took years. She had to be consistent with just wanting to share the information. I think for the main thing is being consistent, being open to have a mentor or look at other people to see what are some strategies that they may be doing to help themselves to grow in their area of expertise. Maybe you're kind of doing the same thing. If you might see some stagnance, that's okay. What kind of things can I do on the other end without changing, again, who you are authentically? Because people will find you. I know in terms of natural hair care, there's like several ladies that I used to follow from when they first started putting out videos. And now they're just amazing. And that was at least 5 to 7 years before they still started to have a following. So can you imagine posting videos on a consistent basis for 5 to 7 years before you actually, blow up? That's a long time.
And I remember, actually, you mentioned that this is your second audio, or your second time around, right? Second time around, because I remember not too long ago, someone said to me, well, you're just getting started. So you just have to be, and I was like, no, honey, I'm not just getting started. Let me tell you about the fact that I've been doing this since 2006. I was on local radios here, doing a show called Let's Talk Mortgage, because I owned the mortgage company, and I used to be on every Saturday at 1:00 live. The entire New England used to hear me on the radio. And then the Haitian community, they have like local televisions and radios. I've been on all of them, talking about finance and sometimes just talking about relationship. I've been there, done that. So going back even to Tabitha Brown, and she's like 20 years, she was working different things, right? Building her skills. Now she's like making it big, and everybody's thinking, oh my gosh, overnight, that one viral video she did, they're thinking that's what it took. That's not what it took. It took all of her 20 years of hard work. What about you, Ashley? Are you familiar with any stories that you would like to share? Folks who did not give up, even when family members told them, what do you want there? It's not gonna work.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to share, there's someone named Issa Rae. I don't know if you guys know Issa Rae. I love Issa Rae. I love her so much. And she's an actor. For those who don't know, she's an actor and comedian, and she's really here for the people. That's how I like to put it. And I started watching her. Her first show was filmed on her iPhone. On YouTube, and she was putting it on a YouTube, and that was when iPhone quality wasn't even as what we have now. Okay, so this is probably an iPhone 5, and it was, to me, when I stumbled on her content, it was the most hilarious, like gut-wrenching, like I was on the floor laughing because it was so funny and it was so relatable. And the way she did it was just so, like, it was just so relatable. You were gonna love the show. But to see her progress from a YouTube web series, when those things weren't even like really well known at the time, and grown into like this big empire now that she has. She produced a show on HBO, and she's been in several different movies and so many things. But it's like it all started with the iPhone, just recording, not even like real proper editing tools. And just to see her growth was so beautiful. But to some people, it looked like overnight success. But a lot of people didn't know the history. And like, she was fighting with HBO for a few years, just negotiating back and forth of like trying to keep the authenticity of her show, because they wanted to water it down and make it a certain way. And she, even though like she was new to this technically, she did not budge. And I thought that was like the beauty of like her story and everything like that. So and then as for me, when I started years ago doing locks. And again, it really started like with a hobby, like just me really having fun. And at the time, faux locks is so popular now. But at the time when I started, it wasn't like super popular. So people come up to me like, oh, wait, you do locks? And I'm like, girl, I was like, we started this locks, trend, and I say that humbly. Okay. But I've been in the game for a long time doing this. So, but yeah, I don't know if I answered the question.
No, I think you're right, because many times, folks are thinking this is your first time doing it.
Yes.
Listen, if HBO or CNN or ABC, NBC calls, I'll be ready, because I've been doing it. Hi, my name is Gabrielle. Welcome to HBO.
Yes.
Because you know what? By doing this, you become better at it every single day, and you become more authentically yourself and more comfortable. Because I had posted something about Oprah when she was first giving the news. Hi, my name is Oprah, and her style was like not like her. She's a people person, and eventually she morphed into the person that she's become. But it's so funny that, one of the things that I do in terms of small beginnings, when folks are saying, it's not gonna work, or you came in too late, all the different naysayers, it's so important. Like, I remember Tyler Perry, I listened to him a lot. Tyler Perry said that he wrote the play, he started it. When he first came out, I went to see him in Worcester. Like years ago, about 20 years, actually 25 years ago, I went to see him in Worcester when he first started, because he came to Boston he was on the tour. But at the end of the day, he was so himself, but the place was packed. But if you listen to his stories, right? He said that the very first time he had a play, thinking that at least 300 people would show up. How many came? 30. And they were all family members. It's almost like you're doing the show here, and three of your friends are saying they like, right? Or you open a restaurant and three people are coming in every other day, right? You have a business, not too many people are coming to support it. Do you give up? Again, you have to draw from where you're coming from. Why are you doing this? Is it, like you said, Ashley, is this your calling? Why is this a directive that you got? Was it a calling that you got to do what you're doing? Because if it is, yes, it'll be difficult, right? The small beginnings will be difficult. But at the end of the day, you will have this urge. He talks about that urge. Even though he was homeless, he lost everything. He couldn't keep a job because he was trying to hustle his way through the system. But he kept doing it because he couldn't give up. Do you know the story about like when he owed his mom $300 and she said to him, "You will never make it. Go find a job at the utilities company." It really hurt him, but he kept going. What would you like to say to somebody who's watching tonight? And that's our last question, who's feeling like, what, it's not gonna work out because I've tried so hard. My small beginnings are not amounting to much. And it's been years. What do you say to someone who's right now watching and saying, when is this gonna happen? Hi, handsome. When is this gonna happen? Huh? What would you say, Lisa?
I would say, you know what? You have to, like Ashley said, remember why you got started. You only have one life to live, just one. You don't get a redo, you don't get to do a do-over, and you don't want to do something you don't like or that you don't want to do. Do the best you can with what you have and keep going. And you may have somebody like your mom or your cousin or your friend tell you, why are you still doing this? Or you shouldn't do it anymore. You should go get a job. But that wouldn't satisfy you. You would,
Go
a
ahead.
lot of people would have, you would have a regret when you decide, when your eyes close. So do what you love or that you're passionate about with the one life, the one time that you have. And if it's your calling, ask God, or if that is your, faith, or draw from whatever it is that you pull your strength from to keep going.
Yeah, I think it's so important to draw from your faith and draw from what you know. Do you read books or watch movies? I like Frank versus God. I watch that all the time when I'm discouraged. I go on YouTube to get inspired and get encouraged and re-energized. What do you do, Ashley? And what would you encourage someone who's watching right now saying, like, listen, it hasn't been working. I've done millions of small steps and they still haven't amount to much. What would you say to them tonight?
A million of small steps and they haven't amount to much. Okay, so I'm gonna just take from what Lisa said, honestly. Like sometimes that's we have to look what we're doing wrong. What could we be doing better too? Not only the discouraging aspect or like I've tried everything. How can we I'm a last resort type of person. I'm going to try different strategies until I hit like a last resort before I like really completely quit. This is why I never really quit hair. I was discouraged, but there was just something in me that kept me going. But a lot of the times, like for me, I've had times where I just wasn't marketing myself the right way, or maybe I struggled with what to charge. That was kind of like my time versus my effort wasn't feeling like fulfilling to some degree. Or just sometimes it's just about just re-strategizing. And also I feel like wise counsel is so important. And like I know that you said, some people just don't have the support. Like we go back to Tyler Perry and his mother, what she said was extremely discouraging. But so I think like on the inside of you, you have to know that there's just something on the inside of you that no matter what anyone says, even when it is your mother, that you're just going to keep going. You have to keep going because you know that it's in your soul. It's embedded in you. There is something that is just going to keep you pushing, and you have to believe in that voice, because if you don't, Tyler Perry would have been working for $300 a week, and we wouldn't have been blessed to see all of his movies, because I love me a good Tyler Perry movie. Okay. So we wouldn't have been blessed to see that. And I think sometimes we just don't have tunnel vision. We just can't see what we're doing, how it can help other people too. But I've realized so many times and time again that what I do in my craft, how much it helps other people. Like I've recognized and got deep enough into what I do to recognize that the purpose is bigger than me. It's bigger than just me. It's not just about doing hair and getting that part straight. Okay. It's literally a soul connection with my client. It's a therapy session. It's like a bonding, a sisterhood. Like y'all know when you go to see. And so that is like what keeps me going, because when my hands are tired and my back is aching and my feet are swollen like a dog, because it happens. It's like, no, keep going, because you don't know how your message or this conversation, how even just getting their look together could boost their confidence and encourage them to like continue to do whatever it is they do, So that is really what keeps me going. Yeah. And yes.
Yeah, well, actually, I know my hairdresser is very important to me.
Yes, your hair looks great.
Before COVID, I had gone to somebody else because I decided to try somebody else. Oh my gosh, I was bald over here and everything.
No.
She said, Gabrielle, I'm gonna take care of this. And less than 2 years later, it's like every time she's telling me it's getting better and
it's beautiful.
So so it's so important. Hairdressing, everything,
Yes.
But look good. But going back again to small beginnings matter. Sometimes it's overnight, right? A few people have been quote unquote lucky and gotten it overnight. But for many, it's many nights. You gotta keep doing it, keep at it. 10 years for overnight success. So if you haven't been doing 10 years, then you're just getting started. Keep doing it. Success will come, but you just have to believe that this is what, and it's not only going to come for you, it's going to come because it's going to bless other people. You know, if you are someone who's watching and you like this show, please support it, because when you support it, you're going to support me and support everybody else who gives time to this show. And also today are some people are looking for an encouragement. Again, we said watch YouTube, read a book, you know, talk to a friend. They need an encouragement. They need it. You know, when you see a friend looking good, especially now, a friend of mine always says that, you know, when you see someone walking down the street and they're looking good, clap for them, because let me tell you, it's hours at the gym. They do a lot of hard work. Those weights, it's no joke. But when you come out, you feel rejuvenated, you feel renewed, you feel, oh, great. The same likewise with financial blessings and financial independence. You gotta start somewhere. You cannot keep on splurging and wasting your money. I've had to learn to be more disciplined with money, and then expect that you're gonna have a healthy retirement plan. It's not gonna happen. And even with relationships and your career and your business, you gotta have that first contact, keep at it, keep doing it, because eventually you're gonna get to where you wanna be. Every single day, remind yourself. I look at my vision board and I remind myself, everything here I believe will come to pass. Meaning like will happen, and you have to believe it. But you gotta do the work. Small beginnings matter. So please tag, share, let a friend know that we are here every Wednesday, sharing really great, pertinent, and timely information. I want to thank my friends, Lisa and Ashley. Ashley, please do come back. If I ever get to New York, you will be doing my braids or this is actually not your hair. You can do it too.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't have perm, so this is not your hair. She just
Very nice.
every once in a while. So yeah, please. We cannot wait to see you in person, but please, we would like to see you on Zoom often. Join
Yes,
us.
thank you so much.
Well,
Thank you for
awesome.
having me. This is something new for me, but I'm just following God here. I feel like he's been calling me to speak more. I don't know. I'm very shy in front of a camera.
This
but
is not a camera. This is Zoom.
This is a camera still. It's still a
I
camera.
know. I said that all the time. Whenever the guest like, oh, I don't want to do this.
It feels like the real deal.
This is Zoom. You're on Zoom all the time for work, so you can do this.
But because it's live, it really feels like the real deal. You know what I'm saying? So this was kind of, this is me coming out of my comfort zone for real. Like I'm like this with my friends, but when there's a camera and stuff like that, I get a little shy. But I feel like he's calling me out of this. Maybe there's going to be more speaking opportunities in the future, but I just appreciate you having me on this show. I'm very grateful that I was able to speak about this topic. Is very near and dear to me. So thank you for having me, and nice meeting you, Lisa.
I tell everybody who's shy. To come on, because the more you do this, the more comfortable and the more authentic you become. Right, Lisa?
Yes, it's true.
You're all pro now.
It's true. I am an home pro now. Oh man, this is wonderful. I am so thankful to have Gabrielle in my life and to be able to be a part of what she's doing. I wish you the best of success with this show, because we do talk about great topics, things that are really helping you to really transform your life. And I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for all of you, because I know to whom much is given, much is required. And I've been given, and that's why I feel compelled to give back. Okay, this is a compelling show. I'm compelled to give back. So please pay it forward and share with your friends, family, and all your contacts. Thank you so much for your time. Have a blessed day, and actually blessed night, and tune in next week for another great episode of Let's Talk Money with Friends.